right, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. So quickly, we are almost running out of time. We'll move on to the Q&A. A couple of questions from the attendees. So I think we should start responding now. There's a question an attendee wants to, this is Shane, he wants to find out how we can help a potential client to leverage their current infrastructure to accommodate this new CCTV temperature system. Can you help with that?
Okay, thank you for that question, Mr. Femi. Sorry? Okay, Mr. Sheung. Okay, Mr. Olua Sheung, thanks. All right, first of all, for a potential client to leverage our technology with their existing solution is very simple. So first thing we'll do is we carry out a feasibility study. Like we all know, there is an industry where multiple cameras can be integrated together and being monitored and controlled from a single endpoint. So we'll carry out a feasibility studies, do a compatibility check, and select the appropriate solution. But what I can tell you is that the interface is open for integration. So which means access control system from different manufacturer and also CCTV system from different manufacturer with this ONVIF can sit on the same back end and we can communicate to each other. So feasibility study is required. We do a compatibility check with the system and we select the appropriate solutions. So in the past, we've had some experience whereby we pick up the wrong type of camera due to unqualified engineer and the likes. So if you have a qualified engineers, we have a qualified engineers actually that can help you do that. So, and once that is done, we can integrate the existing solution with thermal technologies. I hope I'm able to answer your question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Quadri, for that detailed response. Okay, so we have another question from Obe. Obe wants to know if remote monitoring with if remote monitoring and control is possible with thermal camera. You know, like you have in IPCCTV. So is it possible that one can do remote monitoring and control with thermal camera?
Yeah, very possible, ma'am. So having a remote monitoring and control is possible. You are in a remote location, that is very much possible. Like what we are doing with Standard Chartered Bank now, in West Africa, we can connect to their system from any location. So from one location to the other, with the help of the wide area network, we can have access into one region, from one region to another region. We can be here in Nigeria and configure Gambia to work. So similar to this kind of solutions, remote connection is very much possible. You just need to understand the client's requirements, and we'll document this during our survey, and we will select the appropriate solution. So thank you, it's very much possible.
All right, thank you. Couple of questions on plasma. Unfortunately, Chris has another engagement, but Paul, you can help with that question. There's a question here, and it says, if bipolar ionization is safe for continuous use around people.
Yes, it is, absolutely. As Chris mentioned, ionization is a natural phenomenon in the air. So out in the countryside, you'll find very high levels. Actually, you'll find anywhere between 900 to 1200 ions, positive and negative ions per cubic centimeter, naturally in the environment. And that's why you don't have any viruses out in those environments. When you get to cities, the presence of positive and negative ions drops significantly. The presence of positive and negative ions in the air drops significantly. And when you get into buildings, it drops again. So it's very, very low indeed. And all plasma air is doing is effectively artificially replicating what is present outside in the natural environment. So the answer to the question in short is yes, it's absolutely safe for human beings.
All right, thank you. So how often should the ionization tubes be replaced? How often can that be replaced?
Well, not all plasma air products have tubes or pins that need replacement. It depends very much on the application and where the units need to be placed. For those practices choose that basement, it depends on airflows, on usage, and so on. But on average, one would say 2 years,
Okay.
but it may be longer. It depends on airflows, etc.
Okay, so a question here from Bobola, that he wants to know the long-term effects of ionization devices on human. Is there any standalone device for window unit AC?
Yes, for domestic use, there's no long-term impact of ionization on human beings. They can be plasma air, there is no, what happens with the positive and negative ions is they're consumed with the particles in the air. So coming in contact with particles, airborne viruses, mold production, and so on, the ions are consumed and they destroy the viruses and they're consumed themselves. So there is no, so the answer to the question again is no long-term effect on human beings. It's a perfect natural process. You don't see it in the air. You're outside already.
Okay. All right, Paul, thank you. Now, someone wants to know that, Bello, in a simple terms, what is thermography? Can you explain a bit what thermography is?
Okay, thermography is otherwise known as thermal imaging. We normally hear the word thermal camera. This thermography is just a specialist techniques that is being used with our infrared for different applications. So this infrared sensors is used for different applications. We can use it on human body. We use it for temperature checks. And then for buildings as well, we use it to inspect buildings where there are hotspots. We use it to inspect electrical equipment and other machineries too. So it's just to detect normal or abnormal temperature. So in a building now whereby we have a form of hotspot in our electrical installation, this thermography technology can be used to detect that point before it turns into a form of high heat, or before it causes fire in the building. So it's basically is just a technology that uses infrared sensitive camera for different applications. Thank you.
Okay, Corey, is there a special way to select the right thermal camera?
Yes, well, nothing really much
so
on that.
So how do we select the right thermal camera?
Okay, yeah, nothing really much on that. We have to, in selecting the right camera, we know there are a lot of cameras for different applications. So from our experience, in fact, in the last few months, we have to intervene because a wrong camera was selected. When I was explaining thermography earlier, there are some cameras specialized for building inspection, for diagnostics, and those cameras were being installed on the site to measure human body temperature. So it's two different applications entirely. So in selecting the right camera, we need an experienced thermographers. We need an experienced thermographer to carry out this. In our organization, we recommend level 2 and above to carry out this inspection. So when they carry out this inspection, we give you a precise and detailed report featuring comment and advice. And with this in place, we will be the one to select for you. Sometimes too, like I said, in this last 2 months, we have some clients that specify a camera for us, that we want this camera for our building. And the question we ask, what do you want to use this camera for? What is the application? And they tell us this is the application. We told them this camera will not do the work. If you're looking at measuring human temperature, then this is the camera that will work. So this requires a form of an high-level expert to intervene. But selecting the right camera is not the problem, but the person selecting that camera. So we as a Basscomm Group, we have reports to ensure that you have the right camera. We help you, we explain to you, and we also enlighten you on how the system works. That's what we do. So selecting the right camera it requires a lot of training that we don't, it's not what we can actually explain with this medium. But we can help you. You can consult us. We'll help you select your right camera for your right applications. Thanks.
All right, Corey. So in a nutshell, only trained experts can be used. Only trained expert can select the right camera for thermal solution.
Exactly, ma'am. Okay. Exactly.
So plasma can be retrofitted to any system, where it be single AC units or to centralized HVAC systems, or alternatively, they can be fitted to systems. Said it doesn't make any installed after, as said, after the fan section of the HVAC system, and as said, it can be retrofitted to any system. So we're currently looking at 2 hotels, one under construction or the plan for construction in Lagos. So as I said, it applies to both. There's no part-time required replacement.
Okay, thank you. So we have a question on sewage treatment. So can treated sewage be reused or recycled?
Well, the answer to that is yes, it can. It oftentimes, most of the time, it isn't. And the reason it isn't is because to get to a point where it is recycled and reused, it has to be treated to the nth degree. So it would be way above the requirements for in Nigeria. But the technology is there, but most of our clients, it's not a requirement, because obviously to a standard you treat, the more expensive it becomes to treat that sewage. But in a nutshell, Dorothy, yes, you can do it. And in fact, I know there's a project in Africa that the Bill Gates Foundation are involved in, where they're doing exactly that, and they're drinking the water. You know, the sewage end, it's an expensive process and not required. The standards in Nigeria are more than sufficient to dispose to the environment, and that's the standards that we generally requested to work to.
All right, Paul. Thank you. We're running out of time, but Corey, last question. Since we want to know the Longita installation and what is the warranty and maintenance plan?
Okay, thanks for that question. Basically, most of our, like I said during the course of my presentation, most of our equipment from our OEMs comes with 12-month or 24-month warranty on their cameras. So when you're looking at the thermal cameras, most of it come with 24 months. And for the other cameras, which is a black body that is being used for calibration to get better accuracy, that comes with 12-month warranty. And for our installation, we give free maintenance for 6 months or 1 year, depending on the terms of contract. So I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay, Paul. So is the ionization HVAC solution a substitute for the use of nose masks in workplace?
We are very much in favor of working to WHO guidelines, the World Health Organization guidelines, which generally all countries are following. So we would see it as an additional protection. As Chris said in his presentation, it has been proven to kill coronavirus in the air within buildings. It's 99% effective. So if you have plasma air in the room, if you're washing your hands and taking all the precautions that the government guidelines recommend, the chances obviously of getting coronavirus are reduced dramatically. Because it kills 99%, obviously there's still 1% there, but effectively, I said, we would recommend wearing face masks where the government guidelines and WHO guidelines say, but it's extremely effective, and it's the only effective treatment, air treatment, for killing viruses in the air. You can just, and I didn't touch on it, you can use UV and in the evening where they have robots go around treating the air, but once they stop the treatment, the UV on the air, someone walks in and they happen to have a coronavirus, the virus will spread again. So plasma air is the only solution that is actively, continuously, as long as the ventilation system is on or the air conditioning system is on, is continuously and actively killing coronavirus in the air. And I see, Dorothy, there's a few other questions there on that from an attendant to answer those questions.
The core application of the solution to curbing the spread of COVID-19. Yes, I wanted you to finish the first one before I ask the second question.
Okay, sure. Well, thank you. Well, the core application of the solution is to be installed wherever you have people in buildings, airports, in airport terminals, in hotels, in office buildings, in metros, bus stations. You know, wherever you have people sharing space, airspace, and rooms. Really, you should be installing a plasma air technology to kill the virus. I said it's peers, and once there are people congregating together, there's a potential for the virus to spread. And I said, I reiterate again, it's important that we follow the government guidelines in Nigeria and the World Health Organization guidelines. This is just a copper fastening of a protection. And I said, masks are useful and do act as some protection, but they are limited in their protection. Masks are limited in their protection, and you get various different types of grade of masks. You get 2-layer masks, 3-layer masks, KN95 masks, N95 masks, and so on. But they are limited, and they don't always prevent smaller particulates and bacteria passing through the mask. Whereas ionization and plasma air will attack things.
All right, thank you so much for answering that question. So just before we wrap up, Quadri, did you have any last words or any thoughts that you want to cover more before we end this session? Quadri.
Oh, okay, sorry. Like I said at the beginning, we're already running out of time. So we will look at this Q&A thoroughly and we'll respond to all questions that we could not attend to during this time. So I'll personally get you an answer via an email after this webinar. Thank you.
Yes, any comments from you, Paul? Okay. Any last word, any comments?
Yeah, Dorothy and Quadri, I just wanted to firstly thank Basscomm for the opportunity here to discuss solutions. And I said, you know, I say that Basscomm have some very impressive solutions, and it's you know, all there to help companies deal with this massive pandemic and effect of the coronavirus. And pleasure to be with you today, and hopefully we've managed to give some insights into ways we can deal with this pandemic going forward.
All right,
so thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, everyone, for attending this webinar. For inquiries and requests that you have, we would like you to send them to us. And like Quadri mentioned, other questions and clarifications that you require will also share with you when we are sending the thank you videos. Thank you for joining us today. See you next time. Thank you.